My name is Scarlett Vaughn. 20 years at Apex Global. The woman partners called at 3 a.m. when a sovereign wealth fund threatened to walk. I didn't wear power suits. I wore leverage. Enter Harper Lang, daughter of the newly installed chairman, armed with a laminated copy of the 1998 style guide and the unshakable belief that rules were for other people to follow and for her to enforce. She cornered me while I was annotating the final indemnity clause that protected Victor's family gravesite. Shoes, earrings, and that bag looks pre-owned, she sneered. We project excellence here. 43 silent faces pretended to type behind the glass. I closed my tablet, stood, and gave her the calmest smile of my life. Standards matter. I'll leave immediately. She expected tears, threats, bargaining. She got compliance. That was her first mistake. I didn't steal files. I simply removed the invisible threads only I could see. The side letter promising Victor his granddaughter's name on the new foundation. The handshake on the Bordeaux vineyard that wasn't in any term sheet. The quiet assurance that his mistress's son would keep his board seat. Those weren't documents. They were trust. And trust doesn't live on a shared drive. By noon the general counsel was sweating through his Tom Ford. By 4 p.m. the chairman, Harper's father, was leaving voicemails that sounded like hostage negotiations. By midnight the stock was down 9% on key personnel uncertainty. I turned my phone off and slept 10 hours. Wednesday breakfast was at Le Bernardin with Victor Lang himself. No lawyers. Just croissants and a new contract. Same company, new buyer, Lang Family Holdings, with me as president of Global M&A at 4 times my old salary and a carried interest slice big enough to make partners cry. He signed with the same Mont Blanc he'd used 20 years ago when I was 29, and he decided I was the only American he'd ever trust. Thursday, the original closing day, I walked back into Apex wearing winter white and the kind of calm that comes from knowing the building is already on fire. Harper was in the lobby, hair escaping its bun, trying to intercept Victor before he reached the boardroom. She saw me and actually dropped her iPad. Victor stepped out of the elevator, looked at Harper, looked at me, and said in his deliciously bored baritone, "Miss Lang, I was told my trusted counterpart suffered a sudden illness. Yet here she stands Scarlett, clearly in perfect health. Curious." Harper's mouth opened, closed, opened again. She was terminated for cause. For shoes? Victor asked, raising one silver eyebrow. The lobby went mausoleum quiet. He turned to the chairman. Your firm has 48 hours to accept my counteroffer at 40 cents on the dollar, or I let the company rot in Chapter 11 and buy the pieces at auction. Your choice. Then to me, Scarlett, shall we? The new office has better light. I didn't gloat. I simply walked past Harper, paused just long enough for her to smell the Bordeaux on my breath from the toast Victor and I had shared an hour earlier, and whispered, "Next time you enforce a dress code, make sure you own the dress." The board took the 40-cent deal before sunset. Harper was escorted out with a single banker's box and yesterday's mascara. Her father resigned by email from his yacht, too ashamed to show his face. 6 months later I stood on the terrace of the vineyard Victor kept because of a promise I made him 20 years ago. The graves were untouched. The wine was exceptional. And every bottle now carried a discreet gold label on the back. Closed by Scarlett Vaughn. Shoes optional. Some women scream when they're disrespected. I just remove the oxygen and let them suffocate in the silence. Moral of the story? Never fire the woman who knows which clause is actually a love letter. Because when she leaves, she takes the heart of the deal with her. And hearts, unlike handbooks, can't be reprinted.